Everyone, I'm Dakota Amethyst,
I'm Amethyst Haynes.
Jessica Vega.
and our project is over the unsung heroes of the Holocaust, so all the smaller, lesser-known people who still tried their best to make a big impact and save the Jewish people during the Holocaust. And so we have, instead of focusing on the dozens and dozens of people who tried to help, we focused on three main people: Irina Sindler, Otto White, and Chiune Sugihara. And right now we'd like to take a moment, each of us, to explain our people.
I had Irina Sindler. She was a Polish woman of Catholic descent that helped save 2,500 children from the ghettos before they were deported to the concentration camps and would have been killed. She started her life of helping people because her father was a physician, and he died helping poor people during an outbreak. And his dying words inspired her to continue his work of helping. She would smuggle kids in unconventional things like boxes, bags, ammo crates, and even one girl that she'd saved that recalls her tale of surviving under a pile of bricks that was stacked in a way that air could flow and she wouldn't get killed. She sometimes would resort to bribing the guards to get these kids out of the ghetto. She is credited personally with saving 400 of these children. She was part of a group called Dakota, and what she would do when she would rescue these children she would write their Jewish name on paper and then their new name, their Catholic name, Christian name, and she'd put these names in a jar and bury them, so that way, once the war ended, she could hopefully reunite the children with their families. Unfortunately, most of these families died. She was eventually captured by the Gestapo, and she was brutally tortured, but she did not give up her comrades because she was very committed to her cause. She was sentenced to death by firing squad, and she was actually rescued shortly before she was actually executed by her group, and she went into hiding but continued to work underneath a different name. She's been awarded many awards for peace and courage, though most of those she couldn't receive until after the fall of communism that washed over Poland, because she was not trusted by the communist governments. But she lived until 2008 and died, but her entire life she worked to help the disenfranchised people.
Yeah, my person is Otto White, and Otto White started to go blind relatively young, and so he left his family business and decided to open a blind workshop, and he was an anti-Nazi, but he wasn't Jewish. So as a protest and a help to the Jewish people, he employed nothing but blind and deaf Jewish workers, and which is really interesting because he got a contract with the Nazi army to produce brushes, and so which made the Jewish workers vital to keep producing brushes, which kept them from getting sent to concentration camps and being taken away. And he was actually really bold because he would pay to hide Jewish people in other houses and in attics. And one time the Gestapo came and took his Jewish workers away, and he went to the Gestapo's police station and told them, I have a contract with the military and these people are necessary, and if you mess with me, you mess with the military. And so they gave all the Jewish workers back, which was pretty bold at the time considering the reputation of the Gestapo and the reputation of the Nazi regime. So he was credited with helping a lot of people survive the war. Well, a lot of the Jewish blind workers survived the war, which of course would have probably been killed the second they went to a concentration camp. And one of the people that he saved, and also one of the people he saved was named Inga. And she was really interesting because she wrote some books about him and about her experience. One of her books were Papa Vite, which is about her time, and at the blind workshop and all the things that he did and how he helped people survive. And then another book she wrote was I Wore a Yellow Star, which I think is a very common book or known in America, which is about her time during the war. And she's won very many awards. She's a really renowned writer. And so I think that was interesting because, you know, he's saving that one girl and she making such an impact really set off a chain of events because she's won a lot of awards. And it was really difficult to find a lot of information on Otto White because he's not so well known. And actually, he kind of started becoming more well known because of Schindler's List, which I thought was an interesting fact. So we have the books and films, and one of his films one film that's about him is called A Blind Hero, the love story, which is between him and, it's about him saving a lot of the blind Jewish workers, as well as a love interest that he had with Alice, which wasn't very happy. And there is a museum for him, and we have pictures from it. So a lot of the workshops, it seems like a very small museum, which I think is interesting because the huge impact that he did, but yet he's still not very known, and all we have is a small museum. That was my hope, was to get as much information as I possibly could find on him and get people to really understand the impacts that he made because they're really important. And it's really interactive, so you can come and read and watch clips and videos about him. We have an interesting Easter egg, so if you want to find that, because a lot of the pictures are links, so you can find it, and it's about Charlie Chaplin and The Great Dictator, which is a really good, inspiring video. But that is our project, and we hope you come by. Oh,
all right.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you cut me off there. All right, so my person was Chiune Sugihara, and he was a Japanese diplomat who worked in the Japanese embassy, and he worked in Lithuania in 1939, and basically what he did is he helped to issue a whole lot of exit visas that helped to get Jewish people out of the country and into Japan, where they would be safe from the Nazis and Hitler's regime. It's disputed how many people he saved, but the number is somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 people, which is a lot of people. Especially considering the fact that the Japanese government didn't want anything to do with it. He actually disobeyed several orders from his government whenever he decided to issue these visas. It's even reported that when the embassy was being shut down and he had to leave because he was being transferred into Moscow, he was still writing visas and throwing them out from the train to people, to refugees standing in the crowd, which I think is amazing. I have several videos where people talk about him. I even have a picture of a visa that he wrote out, and several people who actually met him, survivors, who talk about him at length, about how wonderful he was and how kind he was. There's also many books and films made about him. A lot of them come from his wife and his 4 children. He's also received a lot of honors. He was even made into a statue, into this picture, which is in Los Angeles. And if you ever go to Los Angeles, you can see him in Little Tokyo. But yeah, he was really an amazing person, and I was surprised to have never heard of him before. So I would really like to encourage everyone here to take a moment and come look at him, watch the videos, read his biography, all that. And yeah, these are our people, this is our project, and I hope you enjoy it.